Aliens once believed humans had glowing eyes until the cafeteria disaster changed everything. The Academy's dining hall was infamous for sudden blackouts. One evening, just as cadets balanced trays of steaming meals, the lights cut out. The room filled with screeches, crashes, and the hiss of spilled soup, followed by alien cadets panicking in every direction. Most species at the Interstellar Academy relied on retinal enhancers or infrared goggles, but with no time to activate them, terror spread like wildfire. Tentacled students flailed wildly. Insectoid wings buzzed in alarm. Reptilian scholars curled defensively into tight balls. Then, through the chaos, came a calm human voice. "Careful, don't step in the soup." Glowing alien eyes darted toward the sound, but saw only silhouettes. Still, humans spoke steadily. "Left side is clear. Chairs are down but no glass." Another added, "Watch your step. A whole platter of bread is near table 7. Aliens froze in disbelief. To them the blackout was absolute void. Yet the humans moved with quiet confidence, setting trays down, guiding classmates, and navigating the dark as if bathed in twilight. An insectoid whispered with horrified awe, "They walk the void itself." Nervous laughter followed, tinged with reverence. A reptilian hissed, "Impossible. Nothing sees without aid." Then the lights flickered back. The humans stood calmly while others looked like survivors of disaster. Chairs toppled, trays scattered, and some students fainted. Only the humans' meals were still neat and intact. Rumors spread in minutes. Some claimed humans had crystals glowing in their skulls. Others insisted Earthlings had tamed night itself as a loyal companion. By morning, curious cadets swarmed the human table. A tall aquatic being leaned close, voice bubbling. "Do your orbs truly ignite?" The humans chuckled and shrugged. "No orbs. We just see." They tried to explain about rods, cones, and natural adaptations from Earth's predators, but to species raised with technology, the words sounded like riddles. The tale grew into legend. Soon, the Academy arranged an official trial. The training hall would be sealed in perfect darkness. No devices allowed. Each cadet had to navigate an obstacle course. Humans protested they weren't magical, just more suited to dim light, but their hesitation only fueled alien conviction. On the night of the trial, crowds gathered in hushed awe. The first alien, a crystalline being, slammed into a barrier. An insectoid toppled barrels. Reptilians hissed bravely but ended tangled on the floor. Then it was the humans' turn. The cadet, a wiry student named Riley, stepped into the pitch black. Whispers rippled with every move. Riley slipped between barrels, ducked under beams, even paused to tie down a loose cord. They finished the course in half the time of the best alien attempt, grinning as they emerged. Shock erupted. Some cried cheating, others claimed divine bloodlines. Riley raised their hands. "It's not magic, just biology. Back home, predators hunt at night, so we adapted." But the legend had already taken root. From that day, humans became the Academy's guides during every blackout. Fire drills, power failures, alarms. Aliens turned instantly toward humans. "Lead us. Show us the way." Humans accepted it with humor, sometimes proud, sometimes embarrassed. None admitted how good it felt to be revered in a hall full of beings from across the stars. Yet the administration soon saw a problem. What began as a cafeteria mishap was spiraling into near worship. Rumors of dark-born navigators spread to neighboring systems. Riley, who had only tried not to trip over a stool, now dodged questions about whether humans could burn holes in walls with their eyes or glimpse the future through shadows. Aliens followed them down halls, eager to witness rituals. One evening, Riley found 3 aquatic students crouched by their dorm window, waiting for a supposed moon-gazing ceremony that granted night vision. Riley sighed. "We were just going to play cards," shutting the curtain on a crowd of 30. The Academy tried to quell the obsession with a symposium. Humans presented charts, graphs, and explanations of rods, cones, and light sensitivity. A professor compared humans to cats and owls, showing biology, not sorcery. Yet the legend remained. To the aliens, humans would always be the ones who could walk fearlessly through the dark. By the end, the human professor was sweating under the weight of alien stares. When the lights dimmed to demonstrate visual sensitivity, the audience gasped as humans calmly kept reading their notes while everyone else sat blind in darkness. Charts and data didn't matter. The effect was undeniable. Aliens whispered in awe of light readers, who could pull meaning from nothingness. Soon, other departments began exploiting this quirk. Engineering cadets asked humans to crawl through unlit ducts during repairs. Security drills placed them at the head of evacuation lines. Cultural exchanges invited Earthlings to tell tales of nocturnal hunters and cave explorers, each story strengthening the aura of mystery. The humans themselves joked, forming a club called the Torchless Society. But each time the joke spread, it only deepened the legend. Warrior species eventually demanded sparring sessions in complete dark, convinced that training with humans would sharpen their instincts. Riley was pulled into one such match. The chamber sealed, plunging both fighters into blackness. Riley barely made out outlines, while their reptilian opponent, Vesh, hissed and swung wildly. Riley sidestepped, let him pass, then tapped his shoulder. Tag! The lights blazed back on to cheers as Riley grinned beside the panting reptile. From then on, humans couldn't walk a hallway without being asked for help in dim conditions. The running joke became, "Need a nightlight? Hire an Earthling." Yet trust grew from the humor. During late-night alarms and system failures, all eyes instinctively turned to humans. Even species bound by strict hierarchies deferred in those moments. Riley found it comical but moving, mighty warriors and brilliant scholars leaning on a handful of Earthlings simply because they didn't fear the dark. What began as a gag became a bond. A single steady human voice could calm a hall of frightened cadets. Sometimes Riley hummed softly, and the whispers of dozens of alien species melted into silence. It wasn't just about sight anymore. It was about reassurance, the comfort of knowing someone could lead through the unknown. But not all welcomed the myth. A faction from a technologically advanced world grew jealous, muttering that human superiority was exaggerated. They plotted to prove technology's dominance. Their petition reached the Academy. A grand trial, humans versus machines, a contest in absolute darkness. The humans hesitated. They knew their advantage was adaptation, not magic. But the challenge left no graceful escape. The arena was prepared with obstacles, puzzles, and simulated emergencies. Teams were drawn. Humans against cadets armed with state-of-the-art night vision. Excitement rippled across the Academy. Bets were placed. Songs written. And Riley, despite protests of "I'm just good at not tripping over chairs," was nominated captain. By then legends outweighed facts. The night of the trial arrived. Stands overflowed with spectators. Darkness fell like a living presence. The opposing team's visors glowed faint crimson as they advanced confidently. Riley glanced at their human teammates, who traded nervous smiles. "Remember," Riley whispered. "We just do what we always do, keep walking." The whistle shrieked. The contest began. The tech squad moved first, steps loud against metal, too quick, too certain. Riley's team crept silently, eyes straining for faint shapes and glimmers of reflection. The first obstacle, a suspended beam, revealed the flaw. The tech team's projected grid missed a loose cable, sending one cadet sprawling. The humans, spotting the cable by the faint glow of the visors themselves, shifted left and crossed smoothly. The audience roared at the stumble. Next came a puzzle wall of glowing nodes mixed with decoys. The visors flared too bright, reflections tricking the tech students into frantic mistakes. Alarms blared. Riley leaned close, whispering, "Here, Dimlow. See it." A teammate pressed gently, unlocking the mechanism. One by one the humans slipped through. Commentators shouted updates. Humans in the lead. The tech squad scrambled, unleashing drones. But the drones' infrared beams scattered against crates, painting false outlines. The squad blundered into a dead end. Riley crouched, murmuring, "Follow my voice," and guided the humans through a narrow side path, eyes catching faint metallic lines in the dark. The final trial was brutal. A simulated evacuation. Alarms wailed. Barriers slammed down. Smoke filled the chamber, choking sensors and drowning the visors in static. The tech team faltered, shouting over each other as their equipment failed. The humans coughed but pressed forward. In the strobe of emergency lights, Riley called instructions. Duck left. Beam overhead. Stay low. Watch the floor. They moved as one, rhythm born from endless blackouts and drills. Moments later, the humans slapped the beacon at the finish. The lights flared. Sweat streaked their faces, lungs heaving, but they stood victorious. The tech team stumbled behind, tangled and frustrated. The crowd erupted, disbelief turning into a storm of cheers. Coughing but grinning with relief, the humans stood together. Across the arena, the tech team squinted and blinked, their visors askew, their pride bruised. Commentators proclaimed the result to the entire academy. Victory to the humans. The stands erupted. Appendages slapped, shrill whistles pierced the air, carapaces rattled in thunderous applause. For the human cadets, the celebration washed over them like a tide. Riley bent forward, hands braced on their knees, chest heaving. Then they looked at their teammates. Nervous chuckles broke out, growing louder until the entire group was laughing in disbelief. They hadn't won with miracles, just patience, sharper sight, and trust in one another. But they also knew, in that instant, the legend had escaped their control. In the days that followed, humans were greeted with newfound reverence across the academy. The once joking name Torchless Society was carved into a plaque outside the mess hall. Invitations poured in from other academies. Joint drills, cultural exchanges, requests for Earth's tales of taming the night. The humans repeated their explanations. Biology, rods and cones, the legacy of hunters and gatherers. But when the lights flickered and shadows swallowed the corridors, aliens still turned, without hesitation, to their human classmates. It was no longer about eyesight. It was faith. One evening, in the same cafeteria where it had all begun, the lights faltered again. Trays rattled, wings beat anxiously, tails thrashed against the floor. Riley rose and lifted a hand. "It's all right," they said evenly. "Stay put. I'll guide you." As if one body, the aliens released a breath. The panic stilled. Riley allowed a faint smile. They no longer needed the myth to believe in it. In that vast, interstellar academy of countless worlds, humans had found their place. Not the strongest, fastest, or brightest. But when darkness fell and fear crept in, it was their eyes and their steady voices that carried everyone forward.